Welcome to 24 Holiday Tips for Savvy Homeowners, brought to you by HomeTipsforWomen.com. Join us each day as Tina and her guests bring you a holiday tip to fill your home with more joy and less stress. And now, here's your host, Tina Gleisner.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's holiday tips. This is Tina Gleisner at Home Tips for Women, and I've learned that during the holidays, all of us women tend to make more commitments than there's time. And so with a little planning, you can actually save some time and really enjoy the holidays more. I have come up with a plan for 4 Ds. The first one is to delegate. There's nothing that says you have to do it all. The second is try doing things together so that not only are you checking things off your list, you're also spending quality time with friends, with family. The third one is my favorite, drop things off your list. There's nothing that says you have to keep doing things just because you did them last year. In fact, if you don't take things off the list, you're not going to have room on the list for new things. And if you're really good at all three of those, then you're going to free up a little time for yourself, and that's when you can successfully delight yourself for the holidays. And so I know everybody's got some great holiday tips, and I've invited friends, experts in their own area to join me in sharing these holiday tips with you over the month of December. And today I have Leonaura Rhodes is joining us, and she works with women mostly and helps them balance everything in their lives. So she's going to give us some great tips on balancing the holidays to make time for you as well as everyone else in your life. Welcome, Leonora. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me on the show, Tina.
I'm really glad you're here, and I can't wait to hear your tips. But I'd like to start out and ask everyone, what's your favorite holiday activity?
Yes, well, my family, every year, we have what's called a Twixmas party, which always confuses people when I tell them the name. It's a party that we host every year between Christmas and New Year, because I always find that time of year there's kind of a lull where nothing much is happening and everybody's kind of a bit down after Christmas and overindulging and all of that. And so we love to have a family and friends party for whoever's around at that time, and we kind of do a cookie exchange, and it's lots of fun, and people are really glad to have something to do, in that kind of gap between the two holidays.
So you save your cookie exchange for after Christmas. That's actually a good idea because there's so much other good food for Christmas dinner.
Yes, absolutely. And, the kids love it, and they get to kind of take a plate of cookies away with them, and it's lots of fun.
Right. So then I'd love for you to share your holiday tips about getting that balance in the days leading up to as well as during the holidays.
Yes. Well, as you know, Tina, I was a physician, and I now work as a health and happiness coach. And I think it's really important every day, especially when you're busy in this planning stage, just kind of running up to the holidays, to schedule some time every single day for some self-care. And that's things like making sure you get in some exercise, sleeping well, getting in some downtime to just, to do something that you find relaxing. As you know, Tina, I'm a huge advocate of mindfulness practice. So whether it's meditating or going for a walk in nature, something that really kind of brings you back to being grounded and kind of in the present moment. Because what I see happening a lot is people are rushing around so kind of crazy with everything that's going on at this time of year. And they kind of fail to miss those moments, and they fail to really kind of stop and think about what it means to them and how they're feeling. And the big problem that happens is if you don't look after yourself in these kind of weeks that we're in the midst of, is that gradually your body, its reserves get run down. And what we find is that, many people get sick in the first couple of weeks of the new year, and we might blame it on the cold or the flu. But what we actually know is that a lot of that is just because our lifestyle that we've been living for those few weeks has begun to affect our immune system and the way our body's working. So you really kind of need to be aware of that and take action to prevent that happening.
So let me ask you.
Yeah, go on.
What I liked was you said you need to schedule time daily. So I know with our crazy schedules, because that's certainly me, the daily scares me a little. So can you give us maybe a little idea of how much time is needed? Because if it's not a huge amount of time, it might be easier for people to fit it in.
Absolutely. And I think, with exercise, however much time you can fit in, it's better to do a little bit of exercise often than it is to do none at all. And in fact, inactivity is as bad for you as exercise is good for you. So, if you've got a really, really busy day, find opportunities in that day to do some natural exercise, like running up and down the stairs, or, if you have, I have one of those mini trampolines in my basement, and if I've got a really busy day, a few times during the day I'll go and bounce, and I literally do 100 bounces on the mini trampoline, and it just increases your energy levels. It gets the blood flowing. And
how much time does that take?
Probably about 3 or 4 minutes. I mean, it really is quite quick. With mindfulness, I think people are often scared off meditation and things like that because they think you need to kind of, sit crossed legs for half an hour or whatever. But, I have a program of 5-minute meditations, and within about 3 minutes of starting to meditate, you see a big shift in your brainwave activity and your heart rhythm. So just doing 5 minutes a day of some meditation or, going for a walk in nature and really soaking it up is really, really good for you. And it's better to do 5 minutes a day than it is to do like an hour a week. So, I'm kind of maybe talking about 10 minutes a day of doing things that are going to give you more energy during the day, help you be more productive, and perhaps prevent you getting ill in January.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good investment.
Yeah, if you do it, then and you have more energy, you're going to be more productive the rest of the time.
Yeah, and I say to people, that investment of time that you put in for exercise and maybe meditation, you will get back that time during the day because you'll be more efficient. No doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in addition to making that time for you, what other things should people be doing?
Yes. So one other important thing, it kind of ties into the first one in a way, but I think it deserves its own kind of its own moment, is I think during the time, especially when you're having big family meals and things like that, it's really important to have one meal a day that's very, very healthy. And so this might be, a green smoothie with some blueberries and, some protein powder or something like that, or a lovely big yummy salad with some nice tasty snacks on the top. And this will counteract the harm that's caused by a big sugary meal. And Christmas and New Year are marked by us eating a lot and drinking a lot. So we get a lot of calories in a big burst. But if you have one meal a day that's really ultra healthy, it will help to counteract the damage of that. So kind of set aside one meal a day, whether it's breakfast or lunch or dinner if you're having a big meal in the middle of the day, and you will feel much more energetic and vibrant if you do that. So that's tip number 2. And tip number 3 is to avoid overscheduling. And you kind of mentioned this earlier, and I'm a big advocate of writing lists and then prioritizing. And I think, like you said, we must be aware of saying yes to too many things in one day. And, I work with many women who have very, very busy lives. I've got one client at the minute who's got 5 children and 3 dogs, and, this time of year is just crazy for her. And what people who are very busy like that, they tend to think they can fit more into their day than they can, and they end up at the end of the day just wiped out and exhausted. So be really careful about overcommitting to things. If you're not sure that you can fit in, that party that you want to pop into, then, tell the host, I've got a really busy day. I'd love to pop in, and I will if I have time, but if I don't come, please don't be offended. That way you kind of, you keep your relationships intact, nobody's feelings get hurt, and you reserve the right that if you start to realize that you really don't have time, that you're feeling just too tired, that you've got a kind of graceful way to back out. So that would be my third tip.
Or stop for a half an hour, but then head on to the next thing.
Yes, absolutely. And, there are only so many hours in the day, and you've really got to fit your sleep in and, all of the other things, paying bills and all of that stuff. So, be kind to yourself in that time, and
right.
Don't overschedule and overwhelm yourself.
Because I keep wishing for those extra hours or an extra day a week, and they never happen.
They don't today, no.
No, we can keep, it's Sunday night, and they say, I need another day in this weekend.
I know, and we all feel that because we're all overscheduled, and, like you said, sometimes even though something may be really, really tempting, you just have to kind of say, no, this is not a good time for me to be doing that. And, the world is not going to end if you say no to a few things.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we head into the holiday season, what's the most important thing for you?
Well, it's really family time. I have a husband and 2 teenage boys, and, our lives are all pretty hectic and busy. And during the holidays, we kind of force ourselves to have fun together. And, I live in the Northeast in Connecticut, and the weather's not particularly nice at, this time of year. So, we play pool. We have an English dartboard in our basement, and we play cards, and we watch movies together. And we kind of force ourselves to have some time where, we say to the kids, I'm sorry, this afternoon you've got to stop playing on the computer or the video games, and we're going to spend some family time together. And, and just to go for walks, even though it's cold, to go for a short walk together. It's amazing the conversations that come up when you're playing a game of cards or go for a walk together. So it's really precious time for us.
Right. So what's your favorite holiday movie?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't really have any that I watch over and over again, but I did see Elf for the first time last year, and people have kept thinking it's the best holiday movie, and I have to agree, it's just absolutely hilarious, and he's such a delightful, innocent character in that movie, and so yeah, it's one holiday movie that I really won't mind watching again. I grew up actually watching It's a Beautiful Life over and over again, which is a very old holiday movie.
Yeah.
That's kind of an old favorite of mine, so yeah.
And I like A Miracle on 34th Street.
Okay, yes. Yeah, that's cool. There's some great old movies. And there's some good new ones too. And it's nice to revisit the old ones though.
Right. Yeah. So listen, if people want to connect with you online after this, where would they find you?
Yes. So my main website is drleonaurarhodes.com, and I'll spell that for you because it's a really complicated name. So it's LeonauraRhodes.com, and I have a book called Beyond Soccer Mom, and the website for that is really simple, BeyondSoccerMom.com. And that's a book kind of packed full of ideas on how to create a fabulous, balanced life for you and your family.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
This has been really, really great, and it's so good to hear, everybody's been mentioning unplugging, even, for 2 hours a day. get away from the computer, right? It's such a great idea. And, that's what we need to do to kind of have that face-to-face conversations, which have, fallen by the wayside with all of the tweeting and texting.
I know.
So this has been really, really good and I love, you explaining, because people get scared about, making time for yourself every day. But when you then explain it's 5 or 10 minutes, it becomes much more manageable. And it may just be that, you actually sit and read. If you're not going to meditate, that's fine, while you're having your morning cup of coffee and just have that nice quiet time to yourself. That's really good for people to know. So with that, this is Tina Gleisner at Home Tips for Women. Hope everybody who's listening enjoyed the tips Leonaura shared with us. And come back. We hope you'll come back tomorrow. We'll have some more tips with another guest expert. Thank you so much, Leonora, and I wish you and everybody listening a wonderful, wonderful holiday.
Bye, Tina. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today, and we invite you back tomorrow for another Savvy Holiday Tip. Be sure to grab your free gift at SavvyHolidayTips.com. That's SavvyHolidayTips.com.